So today I thought I'd talk about all things gardens. We're coming into the height of the summer, and as typical Brits, we love to sit in the garden once a little bit of sun comes out, the barbecues are on, even if it's 15, 16 degrees, the shops are wiped out of sausages and burgers and ice, and we really do make the most of those sunny days. So if it's so important to us to have a good setup for those summer days and summer nights, then how much value does a garden add to your property? Sometimes, as long as the grass is green and the weeds don't show, that is enough. But a garden is a really useful key way of extracting a little more value on your property. Back in 2020, the Post Office conducted a study and found that landscape gardens could add up to 77% more value for your property. Now, in the UK, there are 87% of households that have gardens. So if you want to be in the best position to sell now, to be in the best position to sell tomorrow or in the future, then keep watching. I'm going to tell you some ways that you can add value to your garden. So number one is something easy and simple that you can do is spruce up the space. Now, like we've spoken about staging in a property in the actual home itself, the same goes for your garden. So just a tidy up, declutter and minimal maintenance, mowing the lawn, cutting back hedges is going to make the space look better. But we always need to think about it from a prospective buyer's point of view. So people might be using their garden for their children to play in. If they've got a space for pets, they could be growing food and their own vegetables. It could be a hobby to garden, it could be an entertainment space, it could be all of these. So being able to present it nice, clean, tidy and fresh will allow somebody to see it for what they want to use it for. And just a little tip on that, a manicured lawn, freshly cut, clean and decluttered will always make the space look bigger. Number two is just add some seasonal colour. Really easy. Go and get some flowers, go and get some plant pots, make the garden pop. We don't just want to see green. In the height of spring and summer, we want to see some flowers blossoming. So make sure that you add a little bit of colour. Number three is always think about the first impression. So it's really easy to be thinking about the back garden when we're talking about gardens, but always think about curb appeal, and in this kind of day and age, online appeal of the first thing that probably people will see is the front garden. So whether that be on the front image on the portals, whether that be if they're walking by and there's a for sale board, but the first impression usually is the front garden. So pay as close attention to the front garden as you do the back, and if not, that's probably more important for when you're selling. Number four is adding a key selling point. Remember, when your property goes to the market and it is launched, it is not in isolation, it is in competition with what else is on the market at that current point. But to kind of remove yourself from the competition, for you to stand out and then kind of be seen in isolation, for people to fall in love with your property over somebody else's, is it needs a key selling point. So you can do that with the garden. Having a nice summer house, having an annex, having a swimming pool, a hot tub that is built in that you don't mind leaving, if you've built a kitchen area, like an outdoor kitchen area, if you've got a really good barbecue setup, if you've got sheltered outdoor seating, all of these things adds a key selling point, and you can do that with your garden. So if you've already got any of the things I listed above, then brilliant, but if you don't, then maybe it's worth investing for yourself anyway, because all of those things are lovely, but ready for a future sale is have a key selling point. Number five is just about paint. If you're looking to revamp your garden and freshen it up on a lower budget, then a little paint can go a long way. Painting fences, painting decking areas, all of those sorts of things will just give it a little bit of a freshen up and make it more appealing. Number six is think about the patio. Now, in recent years, entertaining and entertainment spaces outdoors has become even more popular as our summers are becoming warmer, and obviously we have those lovely long evenings in the summer. So making sure that if you've got a patio, making sure it's clean, making sure that you've got potential furniture to show people where the entertainment spaces could be. But if you don't have a patio and you've got the space to add one, then before selling it might be something to think about. As well as on the patio in terms of furniture, you can also think about outdoor lighting and all of those things that will make for a better entertainment space for your prospective buyer. Number 7 is really crucial, and I would say is a must. So if you haven't done this, then make sure you do before selling. It's just making sure you have a secure garden. Majority of people have either pets or children, and they would be looking for a secure garden if they have either or. It's something that is important to neighbours as well, you know, that don't have pets. They might not want someone else's dog going into their garden, for example. So just making sure that you've secured that plot and you've made it as safe as possible for any variety of family that potentially might live there. Number 8 is making your garden private. If you're in a very fortunate position where you don't have anybody overlooking your garden, then great. But if you do have other homes or gardens that could overlook into your garden, then maybe think about if there's any tall trees or hedging that you can put up, if you can go a little bit higher on a fence, sometimes some outbuildings or other bits like that you can kind of some infrastructure that you can put into the garden to help with it feeling a little bit more private, so you don't have others overlooking into that garden. And number 9 is about outbuildings, so sheds or annexes. I think it's really important to give people storage. It's one of the first things that a lot of people look at from a practical perspective. So outdoor storage is as important for people that have lawnmowers, any kind of chairs or furniture that they want to put away in the winter, any garden toys for their children. But then equally, a lot of people can use outside spaces like a shed as a workshop, as a work from home office. So it really does allow a lot more potential for a buyer that's looking around your property. So if you have a shed or an outbuilding that might need a little bit of TLC, it's worth doing before selling. If you don't, maybe not necessarily build something huge, but if you can buy a shed that can fit in the bottom of the garden, that doesn't take up too much space but is really good for storage purposes, then it's definitely worth it. And lastly, number 10 is a mixture of a few, but just adding furniture to your garden, letting people walk into it, and instead of them having to envision what they could do, is offering them some suggestions. So the same as if we wouldn't leave a property bare, we would stage it, the same with a garden. So if you have nice garden furniture, place it out, put the cushions out, put the umbrella up. All of those things will give it that appeal that somebody will fall in love with. So making sure you furnish your garden as well. And lastly, back to some statistics. I like to show you some statistics. It makes everything make a little bit more sense. But Rightmove have ranked the top words that are put into the keyword search. So you can put in all your filters, all your requirements, and then there's the keyword section. And the top 4 are all surrounding something to do with a garden. So at number 1 you have a garage, so outbuildings. At then number 2 you have annex, so again something that a garage or an outside building could be changed into. People like to know that they've got that extra bit of space. Then you've got acre, so people obviously want to know that they've got land. But then number 4 is garden. So the first 4 are not to do with the actual property themselves. It's all of the extras that can be added. So if that gives you a bit of an indication of how important it is to people that they get the right kind of exterior to their property, then you should be able to see that actually if you improve your garden, if you use the tips that I've just gone through, then you could be extracting the most value for your property when it comes to sell. It's just a snippet on a very quick video on gardens specifically, but if you would like any more information on staging, on how to add value to your property, on gardens specifically, or just a little bit more information about property, then please do not hesitate to contact me.